we've got two mentors in Tim Edwards and Martin Parry, and we've got Gary Williams and Chris Cohen, who are the respective mentees for the mentors. So thank you for you guys coming along. Really the reason behind the mentoring program, the business mentoring program, is to assist smaller SME businesses within the geography of Staffordshire. Now, mentoring by definition is an impartial view on what you do in your business, and typically our mentoring pool is rich in talent and experience from many years, many expertises, many areas of diversity. So what we tend to do is we'll visit a mentee business initially and discuss with them what issues, challenges, or barriers to growth that they're actually suffering at the particular time, or indeed how they just want to grow the business. So what we tend to do then is, after a diagnostic interview and a discussion, we'll assign what we believe to be an appropriate mentor for their business. So then we'll effect an introduction, and the mentoring process will then commence for a period of 12 hours overall. That's not a 12-hour session, that's as many sessions as you want to up to the total of 12 hours. And typically that normally takes the form of, say, a couple of hours every month or so for a give or take 6-month window. That's the way it seems to work most effectively. We feel that if an hour or two of mentoring is undertaken each month and it's fairly consistent, then it's actually more productive and more useful. So rather than just doing 1 or 2 hours and then not bothering for 3 or 4 months, then it's less effective in that way. So we've had a lot of successes over the years, and a lot of the feedback and comments we've had are quite wide ranging. Now, a lot of mentors end up carrying on relationships with, in some form or another, commercial or otherwise, with their mentee businesses over many years after. Because they find typically that the relationship is so successful. So the expertise and the experience of the mentor will be transferred into the business of the mentee, and it will help them develop and think about things within their business that they probably wouldn't normally have come to mind in the normal process of events. Because as many of you probably will already know, that if you're a small business owner in a small business, you are the business, you're the technician, you're so busy working in the business that you can't see sometimes the wood for the trees. And having a mentor enables you to take those 2 steps backwards and look at your business more holistically from a distance, and you can then start to see what the issues are that need fixing or improving. And most business owners typically will actually know the answers to those business problems. They just sometimes need that bit of confidence and help and advice, and dare I say, even hand-holding from the mentor to help them get from one point to another good point further down the line. So that's enough about me, as I say, and the program. But if you are interested, after listening to these guys talking from a mentee and mentor perspective, successful case studies, if you are interested, please contact myself, Richard Carty, at staffordshirechambers.co.uk, or my colleague Anne Steele, who many of you may already know. She administrates the program, and Tom Nadin, who's the business services team leader for mentoring. So you can get hold of us quite easily should you wish to, and it'd be nice to see you on board the program over the next 12 months or so. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Gary Williams first, if he'd, as I introduced Gary to Martin Parry some while ago, ask Gary to give his account of what he feels about mentoring and how well it's helped and has been successful for him over the last few months. So over to you, Gary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard, and good afternoon, everybody. And thanks for the opportunity today to share my experiences. Very quick overview of what I do. I'm a local event manager. My experience predominantly for the first 25 years was in banking industry and senior project manager, but to make that transition to go to a local event company and set my own business up was challenging, to say at the least. And I think, as Richard has just alluded to, very importantly, when you're working on your own in a small environment and you're not throwing a massive budget behind you to get yourself going. The mentoring came into its own from Martin, and I want to take the opportunity to thank Martin while he's on the call today for everything he's done over the last, I guess, 12, 18 months, Martin. It feels like that length of time. Firstly, Richard, I met Richard at a networking business group, and Richard very kindly offered this program. And we sat down initially with Richard and just had a very brief sort of conversation about what's involved. And it was pretty clear to me that I was 3 years into the event management company role, and I needed that extra sounding board, that extra sort of, what am I seeing, what am I thinking, where am I going? And quite quickly, Richard helped me meet up with Martin. And just for everyone's benefit, me and Martin found a suitable, convenient place in the Belfry, which is roughly halfway between where I live and where Martin lives. And we met for a coffee, quite simply, you know. And that took anywhere from an hour to 2 hours when we sat down on a roughly monthly to 6 weeks basis, I believe. And Martin, feel free to interject if you don't agree. I guess what interested me in the program was that taking stock of where I was at the time, but something that came very apparent from Martin's perspective: why am I doing what I'm doing? Where am I going with it? Why do I want to do this? Well, what does success look like? And all these conversations very quickly seemed, in a very relaxed manner, I have to say, was Martin's knowledge and skills, and as a mentor, just tried to ease those conversations and got me thinking, and challenging, but also for the right reasons. And I guess making the transition that I did from one career to another was invaluable from my perspective. And the area that I really wanted mentoring from, you know, at the time, it was just a general chat. I think after the second session I had with Martin, Martin actually played back my business to me. And I think that, again, I don't know if Martin recalls this, but I do a wide range of events, ranging from local council work, small corporates, through to running events, outdoor running events, charity days, and days out are predominantly what I do, and in and around the Staffordshire area. But having somebody in Martin's experience to actually sit back and say to me, like, you know, so this is how I break your business down and what you're offering, doesn't sound a lot, but to me, it actually helped me to concentrate on what I'm trying to offer. And from that point onwards, it gave us a starting point to try and, like I say, use Martin at all times. And Martin was very kind to offer his support in and out of our one-to-ones. You know, he always said he would happily take calls and emails, and etc., etc. What I found from the mentoring experience, I guess, is worth sharing, is very relaxed, but very at my own pace. At no point did Martin push back on me to say, we need to meet up by such and such time. It was convenient for me, very flexible, non-intrusive, but very thought-provoking at the same time, I found. And established what works for me and what my patterns of work were. Martin's experience came through to say, took me out of my current environment and actually shared his experience of other environments and how I could relate back to those from a business perspective. And I guess what the benefits that brought was, for me, felt very comfortable very quickly to start saying, what do you think of this? And I'm going down this route, and what are the challenges that Martin sees that I might not see? And again, I have to stress, working for myself on my own business, I felt it was really invaluable. And I guess I'll probably just finish by saying that you've got nothing to lose by doing this fantastic opportunity that between Richard and Martin have helped me. I'd 100% recommend anybody to take this mentoring course on, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely, thank you for that, Gary. That was a lovely précis there. Martin, would you like to just give an overview from your relationship with Gary and how you've helped him, and you can also, after that, if you want to explain to the delegates your experiences of mentoring over the years, because I know you've been involved in the program for quite a few years now.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Martin Parry. Thank you very much for that, Gary. All I can say to that is your check's in the post, mate. Shall I start by just giving you a quick background as to me and how I came to mentoring? I had a career in the travel industry and later, cunningly, telecommunications. There's a bit of a segue from one thing to another. Professional skills, if any, were in marketing, sales, and in business management. As you've heard, sort of in the travel technology sectors, starting a couple of businesses of my own. One did very well. One was a little less glittering, I have to say. So that gave me experience in the sort of owner business, SME, small business startup field, and also working for large corporate businesses. From whence I really came about 17 years ago, from the giant that is NTL, to working for myself, and then into other organisations that you may remember, people like the Manufacturing Advisory Service and the Growth Accelerator Programme. So I've had a fair amount of experience in those sort of 17 years, coaching, consulting, helping with grants, all sorts of business things that go with that. So I'm currently mentoring both through this program and privately, and I have a couple of non-executive directorships as well that keep me busy, though not awake at night, I have to say. So from a marketing career with NTL and AT&T and people like that, how did I get into mentoring? Well, physically, because NTL decided they could get along without me, and with the big check said, do you want to take the Jaguar with you? That was the end of that. A few interim management jobs, and then into consulting, and then through the Growth Accelerator Programme. The Growth Accelerator Programme introduced me to Staffordshire Chamber, and Richard's predecessor very kindly asked me if I'd like to mentor on a voluntary basis. And so here I am. I'd love to tell you, after all this planning that I helped my mentees do, that I had some sort of grand life plan for myself. But if I did, I'd forgotten about it, and I probably don't think I had one in the first place. So that's kind of how I got into mentoring. As far as Gary's business is concerned, I was particularly interested in Gary's business because I detected in him something of myself, that he too had come from the cosseted world of corporate business. I believe, Gary, you were in banking, weren't you? Project manager in a bank, I think it was, that sort. Where everything really is done for you. You know, you don't have to worry about your IT skills. You don't have to worry about paying your credit card because there's somebody who'll do it for you. At least they'll do the paperwork. They won't actually pay it, you understand. You get nice expenses. You get to stay in nice hotels, travel around the country, and in my case, Europe, having a particularly wonderful time. And the next day, there it is, you know. And I think the first time you find that the laptop doesn't do what you thought it was going to do, you pick up the phone to shout at IT department, only to find that you are the IT department. That's when it begins to come to where you become. And I detected a bit of that in Gary, and I certainly remembered a bit of that in myself. And so I was very pleased to help him. And I also detected in Gary somebody who was particularly enthusiastic in what he wanted to do. He was very keen. He knew a lot about what it was that he was doing, event management, organizing events, who his customers were. And it was really just a matter of really the big picture. He'd sort of arrived on the job and set off without, frankly, doing a lot of planning, really. And if there's anything I can do, believe it or not, it is to help with strategy and business planning. And he's quite right when he says the first question I would always ask any mentee is, what are you doing this for? You know, because working for yourself is not the dream that people would make you believe that it is. It is hard work, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It is your first thought in the morning and the last thought before you go to sleep at night, if indeed you do go to sleep at night. So it's really hard work. And sometimes it needs somebody just to sit beside you, put their arm around your shoulder and say, now, you know, what are you going to get out of this? And as soon as you start thinking about, what do I want? against here I am now, and what is the journey that I'm going to have to take to get from where I am now to where I want to be. That's where the strategic planning comes from. And I use a little device I call Orbit that helps me do that and set this out very clearly and very graphically as to how we do that. So my approach is simply to go right back to basics and ask, what is it that you're doing this for? And to take it from there, focus on the plan. I am the person who owns the plan. If I guess my mentees would say to me that I always start my session saying, well, here's the plan that we agreed last time. How are you getting on with the plan? Why have you deviated from the plan? Explain this to me. And then I sit back wide-eyed and expect an answer, which sometimes I get and sometimes I don't. So finally, on my little briefing sheet, I've got something here that says, what do I expect from my mentees? Well, I expect openness, which certainly I get from Gary. He was more than happy to tell me all about his business and how he went about it and where he thought he did things well and where he thought he did things not so well. I expect openness, I expect honesty, because there's no point in me sitting with a mentee and agreeing a course of action, and then I go to them 2 months later and they say, well, I didn't do that. Well, because actually I didn't tell you that, this, that, and the other, you know. So I expect some honesty, and I do expect some commitment. I know these events and these mentoring courses free for the mentees, but it's not without cost, and it's not without commitment to the mentors. So I do expect a degree of commitment, and you know, for people to at least think about the things that have been said and work on it. Really, as simple as that. That's my little bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. That was superb, and I think the key word from there that came out certainly from Martin was one of commitment. It's a commitment on both sides, from the mentee and the mentor, but more from the mentee at the end of the day, because there's no point having a gym membership and then never going to the gym and then expecting a beautiful body. So if you don't go and use it and take advice, then it won't turn into anything positive for you. So thank you for that, Martin. Much appreciated. Chris, if you'd like to give your view on your sessions with Tim and how all that got started and where you are today, really.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, and hello to everyone tuning in for this hopefully really helpful coverage of what the mentor program is to myself and I guess Gary and Tim and Martin, and how we all sort of work in and around that. Sort of picking up what Richard was saying there, I think that the best outcomes of having a mentor and being a mentee is about that fairly challenging thing about it being the right time. And I think really that's where me and Tim, our relationship through this has been really effective for me and my business. You know, I had been a member of Staffordshire Chambers, and anyone who works at the Staffordshire Chambers probably might disappear every time I pop in, because I will literally just hassle everyone and just be, hey, and just want to know like what's going on, because it's a hub, it's a place, isn't it? You know, where you can get amongst the business community, and it's very, very effective. And alongside that is the mentee program, or the mentor program. And I'm always looking for ways that I can push my business forward, and absolutely, totally, and utterly believe that if you can find the right mentor, that it is highly, highly effective. And I needed something quite specific. I remember the day very clearly. I sat down with Anne Steele on one of those lovely sofas in the lounge and said, Anne, can you get me somebody who can help me in education? And I don't know if she had Tim in mind at that point. I'm not sure if that was the case, and she was just sort of, it's going to be tricky, you know, Chris, it's going to be challenging. But I tell you what, she absolutely came up with the goods, because at that point, I wasn't sure who I'd be partnered with. And, you know, that's what it is. It is a partnership. It was really nice there to hear Martin talk about what he expects and Gary talking about, you know, the support and how those things sort of really work together, and it is absolutely a partnership. So when I first met Tim, it started off with a really relaxed conversation, and anyone who's ever sat down with me will know that I will just talk and talk and talk until they just think, what was the actual starting point of this? And I guess I need someone who can sort of help, you know, they can understand my creative processes, and it might seem like there's a lot of information, and I think if they can understand that, then they can help me and guide me. And I think that's been something that's been massive for me, you know, through all the noise that might come out of my mouth. What Tim has done has been very, very concise in his guidance, you know, and even more specifically around some even more specific things in education, which I can't stress enough what an enabler that has been for me and a current project that I'm working on. And it was very specific things that I need, and Tim has really delivered that for me. You know, the guidance that he has given me has really, really helped me. This project, just to give it a quick mention, is it's a landmark project. It's a new thing. It's a collaboration with Stoke-on-Trent College. My background is hospitality and education. And what this project is a brand new course in gastronomy. My business is called Feasted. The course is Feasted Gastronomy Level 3, and it's all very localized. So we're building this course to really not just promote amazing training in hospitality, but also do that in a very localized way. It's essentially readdressing the balance of a national curriculum. It's making it more localized. So Tim, I really drew upon some very specific knowledge and understanding that Tim has, you know, from his current and previous experiences, which was ultimately very, very useful. I feel very fortunate to have had such a impactful menteeship. Genuinely say that, and it was really clear from a very key meeting early on with Tim. Obviously, the first meeting was getting to know you. The second meeting that's where the impact really started. So it was really early on in menteeship, you know. So I would encourage anybody to contact Richard or Anne, and to really know what they want, but also be really open-minded about, you know, where that could take them as well. You know, that is the thing with business, isn't it? You know, we have to have some direction, absolutely, but we have to also be open to input from others. That, you know, that is ultimately going to really be the heart of your success. So yeah, that's that in a nutshell is my experience so far. It's been fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to continuing on the mentee program.
Thank you, Chris. Glowing reports there. So I guess straight over to Tim and your view on the relationship partnership.
Thanks, Richard, and hello, everybody. Thanks, Chris. That was very, very kind. I think in the first meeting that we had, I said to Chris, this is the first person I've ever mentored on this program, so we'll learn together. And generally, I think, you know, it isn't a one-way exchange mentorship. It's very much a two-way exchange, because as a mentor, you learn as well. You learn both about, obviously, the individual's business and the business growth, but also about your own skills in trying to help and support people. And some of that is just sometimes asking maybe the naive or simple question that maybe leads thought in a different direction and maybe you anticipated originally, and a whole series of interchange then in terms of how you can benefit. I came to the mentor program really two reasons. One, I knew someone who'd been a business mentor previously, the late and very much missed Sean Canavan, who was a business mentor, a big character, and did lots of things in this area to help new and existing businesses to grow and develop. And I thought that was a fantastic thing to do. And I wanted to try and support and continue that work going forward. And also more broadly, I've been involved in economic regeneration. I'm very much, I see myself as a Stokie, and I want this area to develop and grow, and it'll grow through new businesses, creating better opportunities for local people. So that was my motivation for being involved. I was really pleased to be partnered with Chris as far as the programme was concerned. I think because we have similar values in terms of wanting the best for young people, feeling the culture and the sort of history and legacy of this area as well, and wanting to integrate into a new and aspirational programme, which was what Chris was talking about at our first meeting, which we had at the Chamber. And I think probably about 3 weeks after that, lockdown happened, and everyone's plans sort of went spinning off in all directions. And that was the same for me as it was for Chris. So we've had obviously a number of conversations since in terms of how do you reorientate that, how do you recalibrate, where do you focus, as well as trying to direct this bigger ambition of creating this new programme of activity. So it's been an interesting time. I think, you know, as a general reflection of online, it's always great if you can catch up with someone physically and have a coffee, but we have managed to continue communicating, I think, hopefully quite successfully. But I look forward to the opportunity to see face to face and having a proper chat about how things are going in the future. I'm very much, as Martin sort of described earlier, I've spent most of my career in what described as the costly world of the corporate world. So I'm only 6 months into developing my own business myself. So that whole thing about, you know, week one, you know, who's fixing the IT, you are, and all those issues, I've been struggling with myself. So, as I say, the mentorship program, in a sense, I'm drawing on my previous experience, but also what I'm learning concurrently as well in terms of the challenges of developing and growing your own business and trying to bring that to bear as a new business owner. For anybody who is thinking about either mentorship or looking for a mentor themselves, it's a great opportunity both as a mentor to learn, to develop new contacts and relationships. As I say, I think it's good for your own self-development in terms of your own analysis, your own perspective on things, and as a mentee, it's a great opportunity to bounce those ideas off, to get some support. It can be a lonely world in self-employment, and it's hopefully a relationship that can be sustained over the longer term. So, you know, it's great the Chamber is sustaining this program over the time. There's a real great diversity of business mentors with very diverse experience. I was fortunate to bring some of my experience to bear for Chris. Hopefully, you know, if you go into the program, you'll find someone with the unique skills that you'll need. I'm sure you will. So, you know, every success to anybody who wants to join. I don't regret it. It's very much, you know, it's something I'll want to continue going forward, and I look forward to speaking to you more about it in the future.
Thank you, Tim. That was fantastic. Thanks for your input there, and all of you, to Chris, Martin, Gary as well. Just to one final comment, and Tim alluded to it there, was the diversity of people and skills that we've got. So not only can we help businesses with strategies, business plans, marketing strategies and plans, deliverables, but we've got people who have diverse skills such as HR, accounting, financial, digital skills around SEO and PR and marketing, all those sort of areas as well. So we can help in any way we can to suit your needs, really. So I hope it's all been useful there for you this afternoon, and with that we'll hand back over to Lauren.
Thank you, Richard, and thanks to all today's speakers.